Okay, I'm gonna share with you my top 24 habits and hacks for 2024. I am a wife, a mom, a businesswoman. My life is full, my life is busy. And these are habits that I learned either the hard way, I have put into practice for years and they're working really well, or my top habits of 2023 that I'm rolling over to 2024 because they worked so well. So come along, I'd love to share with you. Make sure you stay around to the end because the last tip I'm going to give you saved me 3 trips to either the ER or the doctor, and it's an amazing hack from 2 ER doctors. I learned this for my kids, so you gotta stick around. Okay, number 1 is I actually went to a coach, you could call it therapist, counselor, whatever you wanna call it this year, which is hard for me. It's hard for me to ask for help. And the number 1 thing I learned from her is that I kind of look at my motherhood journey, my life, a lot of times as a to-do list, like tasks, things I need to get done, and I completely miss out on fun. So my homework, and I have made this a habit, is it's time to purposely have fun, specifically as a mom, but just in life. So, you know, you've heard about a life bucket list. Create a life bucket list. That is way too far out for me. I need a seasonal bucket list. So what I put into practice this year was a bucket list for the summer. So things that I can do that are fun for me, and my husband, that are fun for the kids, things that are free, things that cost money. Put it all down. Next season, in the fall, create a fall bucket list. Just it gets your mind thinking, what can we do to have fun rather than just a sufferfest of to-dos and diapers and potty training and school and work and cleaning. Hey, let's have in our mind as top priority, well, one of the top priorities, if this is an area that you struggle like me, is fun. So I also did a winter bucket list. And this has actually really helped me to think through, okay, what's on my bucket list? Like one of the things that we had was ski joring. Go watch ski joring. We have a local town that's nearby where the horses pull the skiers, and we got to do that. We made it a priority because it was on the list. Even something small like drinking tea and having biscotti with my girls, or snuggling by the Christmas tree. That was something during my Christmas bucket list. Going to free concerts in the summer. All these things that get your mind thinking past, what do I have to do? How am I gonna, this is really helpful. So have more fun. The next habit that I learned from 2023 that I'm totally pulling into 2024 is the habit I learned from the Fly Lady, which is a cleaning routine philosophy. But she recommends you start your dishwasher every night before you go to bed. And I've been one where I'll clean up the house, I'll tidy up the house at night, but I would just put all the dishes in one corner of the kitchen and leave them till the morning, which that's better than nothing. That is better than nothing. But I decided to start the habit of just starting the dishwasher. I don't have to do anything else. All I have to do is start the dishwasher. And what it's created is, I've done this for about a year now, is if I just have to start the dishwasher, all I needed is just a tiny bit of momentum. And once I've got the dishwasher full and ran, there's just a few more dishes left and I'm already in a mode and it doesn't feel hard to do the dishes at the end of the night. And my morning Diana is so happy that I actually started the dishwasher and tidied up the kitchen. Now, for your psyche, you can't tell yourself you need to clean up the entire house before you go to bed every night. That's just way too much. Just small. Clean your sink. That's what the Fly Lady says. Start with just cleaning your sink every night. For me, I didn't really want to clean my sink every night. That wasn't like a motivating goal to me. I needed to start the dishwasher. So that was a tiny habit that I held on to and it was totally worthwhile. Give it a try. Next habit from 2023 that I'm pulling into 2024 is, as moms in particular, we are so hard on ourselves. Mom guilt, is real. And so we are constantly focusing on what we're not doing well. We may be doing 10 things well as a mom and 1 thing wrong, and that's what we focus on. I'm just gonna say women in general, that's also similar. It's easy to focus on our faults rather than our strengths. So that you write down, what are you doing well in motherhood? Like, what are you doing well? Write it down. And I know it's going to take some habit, but even if you had like a notepad and it's next to your to-do list and you write down 3 to 5 things that you did well that day. For me, yeah, I already have a habit of getting up early in the morning and writing in my journal. So that's when I do it. And I look back on the night before, and I love to be highly productive. I'm a task-oriented person versus like relational. And so first I'll write down like, how was I productive yesterday? What did I do well? Okay, I went to the gym. I went through my emails. I was on the phone with the insurance company for an hour and a half. But, you know, hey, we need to do what we need to do. And then I will put the area that I struggle with is quality time with my kids. And so then I'll write down, like, what did I do to spend quality time with my girls yesterday? And even this morning, I was writing it down, and the list was pretty small. I'm like, well, I cuddled with them before bed. I sat with them at breakfast, and we read a little bit of a book. But then I really had to think because I couldn't remember anything else I did with them. And then I started to feel guilty, like, oh, I'm not doing enough as a mom. And then I remembered, oh, I took them to the park because they asked me to, even though I really didn't want to. It was like 15 to 20 minutes. It wasn't a big trip, but I took them to the park. I actually pushed them on the swings. I went on the slide with them. That's big for me, like to go on instead of like sit on my phone. I actually went on the slide. And then I thought, oh, I actually I did some homework with my 5-year-old. I did that too. And it helps you to think through, I am doing things well. And so I would encourage you to join me in that. And it's really helped me to focus on not the negatives where I'm failing, because none of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. We're never going to be perfect. So we might as well focus on our strengths so we are not digging ourselves into a mom guilt hole every day. Next aha was the 5-minute yes. If you have not seen my video called the 5-minute yes, you got to see it. I will link it below, and you got to take a look at it. But this was kind of a mom mind hack for me. So this is somewhat similar to the last one, but I have struggled with wanting to play with my kids. Again, I am so task oriented that if they ask me, you know, Mom, can you read with me? Mom, can you play Barbies? Mom, can you color? Mom, can you do origami with me? I just have such a big to-do list, and honestly, those things don't sound fun. So in the past, I sometimes do them. A lot of times would say, okay, maybe later, but right now I'm like literally in the middle of dinner, or you know, and then the mom guilt comes on again because you're not like being present with your kids, beating yourself up. So my aha was, and I learned this from my mother-in-law actually. She said, you know what? There's these little tiny moments, and they're not very long, and just seize that little moment when they ask. It does not have to be an hour. And so what I decided to do is, if the girls ask me to do something, if at all possible, I'm going to try to say yes. And it's just for 5 minutes. So, Mom, will you watch me climb the tree? Yes, I will. Yes, I will. Mom, will you color with me? Yes, I can do that. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it doesn't have to be a half an hour. It doesn't have to be 2 hours. It can be 5 minutes. Now, sometimes does it go longer? You know, is it a special time? Absolutely. But that has actually hacked my brain to be present with the girls. And I usually really enjoy it when I do that. It's just the mental getting into it when I've got a massive to-do list. So I would challenge you to check out that video and join me in the 5-minute yes. Okay, have you ever heard of the 2-second lean? Yeah, me neither. I hadn't either. So this is a concept that comes from like the manufacturing sector, and my brother-in-law introduced me to this, but it's how to get your business, your life, your kitchen leaner, faster, more productive. And so you're trying to shave off time. Like say in your morning routine, if you have to find your makeup somewhere in your cabinet every morning, you're losing like 10 seconds a morning. Now, if you would have just put it in like a little caddy and all you have to do is pull it in and out, you're saving yourself every single day. So what I did is I decided to 2-second lean my kitchen. Again, inspired by my brother-in-law, my cabinet making brother-in-law, who said, "Hey, Diana, why is the silverware so far away from the dishwasher? Like, doesn't it take you a long time to put it away, take it out and put it away?" And I thought, well, because that's where we put it when we moved into this house 7 years ago. You know what I mean? A lot of times you put things in your kitchen where you thought they would be best when you move in, and then you leave them for years because we don't take the time to change it. So I decided to do so. So the biggest, I'm not gonna go into every area of my kitchen, but the one that made the biggest difference is I looked at the coffee and tea area, because I drink coffee every morning, so does my husband, and I actually drink tea, usually sleepy time tea before I go to bed. It's part of my nighttime ritual every day. And my husband also drinks, it's almost like a smoothie. He puts like green powder in there every day. Now I had the mugs in one place, the coffee in another place, the coffee pot over in another place, and then like his smoothie stuff in a whole different location. So I decided, hey, let's put all this in the same place. Like, wow. Like if we just think through, take a minute, like where is the pain place in your kitchen? Like where does it feel awkward? What are you struggling with for that? So what I did is I moved all of my coffee mugs right on top of the coffee pot. I moved all my tea into my coffee drawer, and I had to move some things out. I had to rearrange. I had to move all my wine glasses out of the cabinet so my like coffee and tea and the smoothie stuff would all fit. But now it's all in one sector, and it is so lean. It is so mean. It works great. My husband loves it. He says, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Like it's all the water bottles are right by the sink, right by the refrigerator where we need to fill them up. It's amazing. So the 2-second lean your kitchen, get the pain point, where is it difficult, and work on that. Next life-changing habit of this year is I discovered 5-minute crusty, no knead artisan bread. I have never been a bread maker before this because I just have not taken the time. I'm in the real estate business. I have 3 kids under the age of 7. Like time does not grow on trees. I didn't want to take the time to make bread, but I discovered a 5-minute, no kneading, because I don't like kneading my bread, crusty artisan bread recipe, and I make it all the time. I no longer have to buy it at the store. It's like 50 cents a loaf to make it. It only has 4 ingredients, so it's healthier. You can add anything in, take anything out. It's so easy. It's foolproof. Unbelievable. And I will also link that recipe below. But that recipe, I know it sounds so silly, it's changed our lives. I love bread. I love bruschetta. I love bread with pesto. I love bread with olive oil. I love bread with wine. I love bread. So this is awesome. You've got to try this recipe for being a busy woman. It's awesome. Life-changing bread. Yes, it is. So I had my second back surgery this last year, 2023. And what I learned, one of the things I learned, is that God is incredibly close to you in pain. So the 2.5 weeks prior to my second back surgery, I was in so much pain. I was crying every morning. I almost went to the ER several times. I couldn't really stand for super long. I couldn't sleep because it hurt so bad. I couldn't sit down because it hurt so bad. And you know, when you're like sleep deprived and in pain, like everything's bigger. But guess what happened during that season? I could feel the presence of God like I haven't really felt him much before in my life. He was so close. Like I could feel his peace. And I was in tons of pain. I was crying. I was dealing with insurances. I was dealing with like surgery prep and 3 kids. And it was not a low stress time, but I could like literally feel God like nearby, like almost like he was right here. And I could hear his Holy Spirit. I could hear him speaking to me really clearly during that time. And I just thought, you know, we fear painful situations. And I know everyone has different situations and different things that are painful for you. But I just wanted to share from my experience, God was so near in pain. This next section is 3 things that I learned the hard way. So 3 things I wish I did not do this last year. So that I would say is a tip. How about this is a tip section? This is just 3 things, okay? Number 1, you will see in my videos that I made over my girls' room. It's so cute. You should look at that video. I'll link that below too, okay? It's so cute. My 3 little girls, 1, 2, 3, their little beds, the pink pillows, all that stuff. But guess what my regret is? Yeah, doing that for 2 reasons. Well, the main reason is that I moved my 6, 5, and 2-year-old all in together. And the 2-year-old I moved from the crib into her own big girl bed with sisters. So what we've learned is that she's 3 now. She doesn't have the self-control to not be a tyrant, to not get in and out of her bed and bother her sisters in the early morning or at night. During nap times, she gets into their chests, she pulls out their toys and borderline destroys them. She puts beads up her nose, like from their jewelry sets. Like, this was not the greatest thing. And in my home, I actually have room to put her in a separate room. So this does not work if you have no room. If you have no room, just stick them all together. It's fine. They will learn eventually. But what we actually did is they were in there for a few months. And then finally we're like, you know what, Macy, you need to come out, my 3-year-old, you need to come out of this room until you learn to have a little more self-control and treat your sisters with kindness and respect. So she actually is on a little mattress in one of our other rooms until she grows up a little bit. So that was, I wish I wouldn't have put them together so young. The 5 and 7-year-old are fine. They know the rules now, but the 3-year-old is pushing it. So don't put your kids together when they're 2 if you have another option. Just throwing that in there. Maybe your kids are different. It's totally possible. Okay, another thing I wish I would have done. Okay, this has to do with taking care of yourself. So I just mentioned in my couple tips ago about back surgery number 2. Well, I ended up having a herniated disc from having my children and very little core strength. I just didn't understand the importance of core. I just didn't. And so I ended up with a herniated disc in my back. Physical therapy helped. But I mean, you try everything because you don't want to have surgery, right? I tried all kinds of chiropractors. I tried orthobionomy. I tried cupping. I tried physical therapy. I tried like all kinds of stuff. But what I wish I would have done is gotten an MRI sooner, because by the time I'd gotten my first surgery, it'd been 5 years with this sciatic pain. It'd been my second surgery was 6 years. And the longer your body goes, you can have nerve damage. You can have nerve damage from this stuff. So I wish, I mean, yes, we want to try everything and not have surgery. I am definitely a supporter of that because these surgeries were not for the faint of heart. It's not easy. It's the last resort for sure. But I wish I would have gotten answers sooner. I wish I would have gone to a primary care doctor, and that's part of my problem is I didn't have a primary care for myself. I mean, of course I had an OB/GYN when I was pregnant, and I had a pediatrician for the girls, but I didn't really have a primary care for myself, and that's what kept me from getting an MRI. So finally, I got a primary care. I got an MRI, but I wish I would have done it sooner because I think it would have saved my body from a lot of pain and agony. So please take care of yourself. If your body's giving you signals on something, pursue it. If you don't have insurance and your body's giving you signals on something, make that like top priority. This is your body. Your family needs you. You need you. Your mental health needs your body to be healthy. So pursue it. You don't have to live like this. Pursue an answer and don't give up on that, okay? This is what I learned the hard way. Okay, last thing, I wish I knew. So this is interesting. Okay, I wish I had been more careful on Facebook. Let me explain. So I thought that I had all of my pictures on private setting, right? I thought they were all on private setting where only my friends could view my Facebook pictures. I know the profile picture everybody can see, but I thought I had marked, like, all my kids are on there. That's the only thing that's fun to post on Facebook for me is my kids and all of our adventures, you know? And, well, this last summer, my husband and I started to notice, I noticed on my Facebook, because you can tell on the notification when someone shares your photo. So I saw once or twice that someone had shared a couple of my photos. Well, this person I didn't know, they were not my friend, and they shared my photo. And it had a really creepy, like, name, like Facebook name, and the Facebook profile of this person that shared it was pretty creepy, like creepy. And so of course I'm alarmed. It was like a picture of me and some of my business associates. There was the one that really got us, me and my husband, was this person reposted pictures of my 3 girls when I had posted something I thought was privately, saying, hey, does anyone have any suggestions for babysitters? And it was for these 3 cute little girls. Reposted on this sketchy person's Facebook page. So, long story short, my husband actually was so alarmed, he just completely deleted his Facebook profile. I decided not to do that, but I did go back all 7 years, and I noticed, like, what happened? Some of my pictures were private, some of them were not private. So, I mean, it probably was my error. I don't know if it was my error or Facebook's error, but I didn't care at that point. I took down all pictures of my kids from Facebook for the last 7 years. And now we have chosen, just for our life, to not post pictures of the girls on Facebook, which is really sad because most people are awesome, and that's a way that my friends and family can keep up with the girls. But I just decided, you know what, it's just not worth it. Obviously someone got in there and, you know, we blocked them. We talked to a actually police detective that does this stuff. So we kind of took the route that we needed to protect the girls. But that's what we've chosen. So I learned the hard way. Watch out for your photos. So please, I'd encourage you, if you're going to post pictures of your kids on Facebook, check all those pictures and make sure they're secure and they're not public, because this is not just a random thing. This is like it's becoming more normal that people are completely screwed up and they're stealing pictures of your little kids. So there you go. I will also say, in a way, me having back surgery and this Facebook issue helped me break my Facebook addiction, because I was in bed, like I couldn't bend, lift, or twist for 3 months after my back surgery this year, 2023. And I was on Facebook constantly, because what else are you supposed to do? Well, actually, there's a ton of other things you can do than be on Facebook, but I was on Facebook a ton. And so I finally just decided, I'm just gonna delete the app on Facebook. I mean, on my phone. If I really wanna go to Facebook, I'll go on my laptop. So I go every couple weeks onto Facebook now, just on my computer. But because it's no longer on my Facebook app, and I have to like get in and log back in and re-download it, download the app, I'm not gonna do that. It's way too much work. So if you have a Facebook addiction, consider deleting it off your phone. Just throwing that out there. No judgment, no judgment. To each his own. We all have our own lives and our own like convictions for what is right for us. So just take it with a grain of salt. Okay, so the next few tips and hacks are things that I have done for years that have helped me in motherhood, womanhood, just life in general, habits that are tried and true that I love. So first one is getting up before my kids. So I know some people are morning people and some people are not. I have a friend who literally gets up 5 to 10 minutes before her kids, and that makes a huge difference. For me, I do get up usually between 5 and 5:30, which is about an hour or so before the girls. And that hour just fills me up. It just fills me up. Okay, I'm tired, but I also have a cup of coffee. I can wind up. I can write in my journal. I can read a book. I can read. I read the Bible. I connect with the Lord. I write down things that I'm concerned about or worry about, and I just get refilled. And just to have that time to wind up before the little blessings are up and asking you for things is huge, huge help for your day. Biggest self-care tip ever. Okay, next tip is just trying to learn to be married when you have small children. That's challenging because you are pulled in a million different directions, and it's never quiet at meal times, and you're constantly teaching, hey, let's not drop food. Oh, let's not interrupt. Oh, you don't actually like what I made you. You know, like you're constantly doing that. And so to have like a good conversation with your spouse is really challenging. So date nights to us are actually usually at home. Sometimes we'll pay for a babysitter if we need to get away, because that's also super valuable. You do you, but for us, we found usually on Saturday night, sometimes on a Wednesday night, we will put a movie on for the girls. And when they were younger and they didn't care about movies, we would just put them down for bed, put them down early, put them down at 7. And if they play around in their crib for a while, that's okay. It's okay. Like, you need time with your spouse. So now what we do, that the girls are 7, 5, and 3, they all enjoy a good movie. So we put them in front of the TV. We've got their mac and cheese ready. We've got a quilt down. They love it. So it's like a picnic for them. And they do that in their little TV area. And then in the kitchen, my husband and I have our home date night. And it's not like super long. It's an hour or so. And we eat, we talk, we're together. Every once in a while, a 3-year-old will come in and out, you know, give us a hug or ask for something. But in general, it's been a really good way to consistently have date night without having to leave the house. Now, you do have to train your kids. Hey, this is mom and daddy time. We need this. Go in the other room. And it's okay to set those boundaries, because they need to see us spending time together. It's healthy for them to see us prioritizing each other. So that's been really good for us at home date nights. Okay, next tip. This has to do actually with kids and table manners. And, you try different things trying to teach your kids manners. Sometimes you try rewards. Sometimes you try threatening. Sometimes you try, I don't know. I think everyone has their own little spin on it. But what has worked for us is Princess M's. So these are M&Ms that we put in a little jar, and at dinner time, we give them 3 Princess M&Ms. And if they have good manners, we don't take any away. They get to eat them after dinner. But if we see, oh, you're interrupting your sister, then we take an M&M away. Or one thing we're trying to teach our kids right now is, like, we talk about what was your highlight of the day, what was your low light of the day. And what we're trying to teach the girls is to not just talk about themselves, but actually ask someone else, hey, what was your highlight today? Or, oh, why did you enjoy school today? Or like, ask questions. And so if we hear them doing something a little extra or asking a question, then we'll give them an extra M&M. And we've just found it's a positive way to teach manners without having to come down super hard. Like, okay, you just whined about your food, or you are getting in and out of the table, or you just dropped your food on the floor, you lose an M&M. You don't have to like go into this huge spiel on why it's not okay. If you don't want to do M&Ms, you could totally do blueberries or raisins or anything that your kids will think is a little bit extra special. So give it a try, give it a try. Slowly start creating a bedtime routine for yourself. As a woman, as a mom, whatever you are, create your own bedtime routine for you. So we're always taught, do a bedtime routine. The kids need to wind down, give them a bath, brush their teeth, read, sing, pray. We don't do all those things, just so you know, but we do a bedtime routine for the girls. And adults need that too. So I have found this year, and you can't just reinvent your life in a day. You can't reinvent a bedtime routine in a week, but I have slowly but surely started to add on to my bedtime routine, and it's really working, and it really helps me wind down. So one thing is I've kind of changed my mindset around cleaning up at the end of the night. So once the girls are in bed, we tidy up, put the toys back in their bin if they're not put away. Start the dishwasher. That was another one of my tips. I start the dishwasher. I prep the coffee for the next day. I, in general, just put things in order. I put the pillows back on the couches. And instead of looking at it as like a pain in the neck, I almost look at it as, this is winding me down for the night. This is putting the house to sleep. This is showing myself like, okay, it's time to start slowing it down. And then while I'm doing that, I heat up the tea water and, brush my teeth, wash my face, put on my pajamas. I brew some sleepy time tea. Who knows if it does anything or not, but the placebo effect works anyway for me. Not a ton, or else I'm gonna pee all night, but like a little bit of sleepy time. And then for me, I get a Christian romance novel I love historic like romance novels. Those are awesome. And get them from the library. And so I'm reading a novel at night that's not too hyper or too exciting, or else I'm gonna like be wound up instead of wound down. But I look forward to that. And I climb in bed, I've got my tea, I read a little bit of my novel, and it just winds me down and gets me ready for bed. So start creating, slow but sure, just add a little tiny thing on to your bedtime routine. This is something that is definitely, I would say, a hack that has saved me a lot of victimhood mindsetting, which is not even a word, but I'm just gonna say it that way. So here's my example. You gotta turn the hard things into something fun, specifically in motherhood, but this could be applied to anything in your life. So my husband takes an alone night every Thursday. So he recharges alone. So he has decided to fill his cup up. He needs to take Thursday nights alone. So he's not at home with us. If he is, he's in his own room doing his own thing. But I used to look at that as like, oh my gosh, I have to take care of the kids all night. I've been with them all week, all day. I'm a victim, like poor me. But I switched that a couple years ago and decided, you know what? We're gonna turn this into girls' night and we're gonna make this fun. So what we do typically is that's the night we watch movies. We eat whatever's easiest, hot dogs, pizza, mac and cheese, popcorn, whatever's easiest for me to make that I don't have to plan. We put the quilt down, the picnic quilt down in front of the TV, and we have girls' night for that night. And it just makes it fun. It makes it lighthearted. I don't feel like a victim. It's kind of my time to be with them. And so I've tried to change that. Sometimes I'll take them to our local rec center and take them to the climbing wall that night because I know we're going to be later and I don't have time to make dinner, and it's the perfect time to kind of do something different. Maybe I'll take them to the McDonald's play place to get their wiggles out in the winter. But usually it's just at home on the picnic blanket, and they love it. And I no longer see it as like a burden. So where is the sticking point where you feel like this is so hard, or these alone nights are so hard, or like what part of your day is hard? And try to take a minute, 5 minutes and think through, well, how could I turn this into something fun that we would enjoy? And how could I pull out of this, like, I'm a victim mindset and make it fun? My next tip has to do with winter time. Now, I would assume if you're in a warmer climate during the winter, this may not apply to you, but we're in Colorado. It's cold, it's gray, there's not a lot to do, Christmas is over. But if you will see in my background here, there's no red on these trees, but I still have my winter decor up. So I read, if you keep up your Christmas lights and your winter decor, it actually helps with your mood. It helps with anxiety and depression in the winter. And if you study, is it Swedish or Danish? It's it's spelled Hygge, hygge, I think it's pronounced, but it's the art of cozy. And in those cultures, it is dark, long time. Like they have weeks where it's almost dark the entire day, like no light, because they're way north. And so they have learned how to create a cozy environment with candles and with fluffy blankets and with lights and all that in order to help them thrive during the winter months. So for me this year, this is why I still have my garland going up my stairs. I still have my green trees. I've still got a lot of winter stuff up. I took my Christmas stuff down, but this is something I'm trying new this year, and it actually brings me a lot of joy to still see twinkly lights in the winter. So give it a try. I've got a winter decor video. If you'd like to see it, I'll put that in the links below. And join me in this Christmas lights till spring thing. You know, it should be fun. Okay, so from my many physical therapy appointments over the last 6 years, I have learned a little something. This is a tiny tip, but it actually, I think about it frequently. And my physical therapist was amazing. And she told me, she said, Diana, if you want to maintain where your body's at, work out 3 times a week. That's maintenance only. But if you ever want to build on where you're at, you have to go more than 3 times a week. So you have to go 4 times or more. So I will say the same to you. And I use this all the time. Okay, if I just want to maintain where I'm at, 3 times a week is okay. But if I actually want to get stronger, if I want to get more toned, if I want to get more in shape, if I want to go farther, it has to be 4 times or more. Cool tip, isn't it? Thank you, physical therapist. When the kids say they're bored, what do you do? I'm curious what you do. What do you do when your kids say they're bored? Would you just leave it in the comments? That would be super interesting. What do y'all do when your kids say, I'm bored? For us, it's like a bad word. So if the girls say, I'm bored, I say, yay, I have chores for you. Please sweep under the table. Now, do they do a good job? No, because they're 5, 7, and 3. 7, 5, and 3. But hey, they don't want to do it, so they never say they're bored. And another friend of mine says to her kids, being bored is like it's the beginning of creation. It's the beginning of imagination. Like you have to be bored in order to create something. Isn't that interesting? So when my kids are bored, I give them chores, and it actually keeps them busy because they do not want chores. Now, if your kids like chores, that may not work, but this works for me. Okay, this next one I love because I am a declutterer at heart. I do not like all kinds of kids' things overflowing all over my house. It just gets me. And you know how many papers come into the house and how many birthday parties the kids get, like those little like balls or those sticky things or marbles or candy that's left over from, I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff. So where do you put those things so they don't like pile up on their bed, so they don't pile up on the counter? So my tip is, give each one of the kids a little chest in their bedroom that they can put their toys. That's number 1. Give them their own place for their own toys so that when that chest is full, they need to get rid of something. And usually there's something homemade or crappy in there that needs to go away anyway, so that's easy. So it's called the container concept. When it's full, you declutter it or they declutter it. The other thing I have found, so there's one in their room, but the other thing that's been super helpful is I have those plastic drawer organizers in my laundry room, and that's where they have their shoes, their socks, and then each one of them has a drawer for their miscellaneous treasures. So I've got 3 girls, so that's 6 of these compartments, right? So that in their treasures, and it's only like that big, right? Each one of, and it's pull out, so it's easy for them to get out. It's not just a basket. I mean, it is a basket, but it's a drawer, so I can't see it, and it's in there. And that's where their papers go. That's where their party favors go. That's where their, you know, anything. I put their arts and crafts stuff in there too, so they each have like a little Tupperware of colored pencils and coloring books, so that when they want to color, they don't have to ask me. They can just go to their drawer and get their own coloring stuff and do it on their own. When those drawers are full, which they get full frequently, probably like every month, every 3 weeks, depends on how pack radish your kids are. Oh, they're so cute. But when it gets full, you just tell them, hey, you need to declutter. Or you don't tell them. When they're at school, you just do it. Usually when I do that, depending on my kid, they love it. They love it when I clear out their drawers. But I think it's best to teach them eventually, like they need to know, hey, you need to, it's full and you need to get rid of some stuff in there so that it can close again. But they can put whatever they want in that drawer. They can keep whatever they want in that drawer, and it keeps me happy and it keeps them happy. So the special treasure drawer. This one is short too, but it's served me well. Tie one habit to another one. The official wording for this is habit stacking. So for me, what this looks like is I need to go to the gym 5 days a week. 4 to 5 days a week. So I am recovering from back surgery. I am trying to build up my core strength. I'm trying to get strong. I want to be able to hike with my family again. I want to be able to snowboard and ski again. So therefore, I need to build myself back up. This is high priority in my life right now. And has been for years, because hey, when you start to hurt because your body hurts, you realize, oh my word, I've got to prioritize my body or I'm going to fall apart. So I've been learning this. So habit stacking. So what I do when I take my girls to school is it's 8 o'clock. I'm already dressed. I've already got them in the car. And so after I drop them off at school, I go to the gym before my next thing. And that just makes it easy. If I have to wait till 10 a.m., noon, 5:30, it's really probably not gonna happen. But if I do it immediately after I drop the girls off at school, I pretty much always go to the gym. So find a habit that you already have, a routine that you already have, and stack one on top of it that you're trying to build. One thing I have learned that works for me is if I am trying to quit a bad habit or if I'm trying to build a new one, I'm just gonna be honest with you. I struggled with overeating for probably a good 10 to 15 years. And sometimes it was just a little bit extra at meals, and other times I would swing into full-on compulsive overeating where I'd make myself sick because I ate so much. You know, I remember a time in my life where I went from, I'd go like to Taco Bell, and then I would go to KFC, and then I'd go to McDonald's, and I just was filling. I was just eating. I would just get in, I'm so glad I'm not there anymore. But I wanted desperately to quit that. And of course, whenever you have a habit that you're trying to break, whether it's a sugar addiction or anything, biting your nails, it's a habit. There's a reason it's a habit. It's really hard to break it. So what helped me is I talked to my sister. So find a friend, find a sister, find someone that you're close enough to that can be your accountability partner. And I told my sister, okay, I need something painful. So I need a reward and I need a discipline if I do this habit. So I was pregnant with my first. So this was almost 8 years ago. And I told her, I said, okay, if I overeat, I owe you 25 bucks. And then what I started to do is you string together like, okay, I haven't overeaten for a day. I haven't overeaten for 3 days. I haven't overeaten for a week. I haven't overeaten for 3 weeks. And then, oh, I made a mistake. I owed her 25 bucks. That was painful. But guess what? I'm not going to keep owing her 25 bucks because that's expensive. I'm going to get back on the wagon the next day and I'm going to start again. And I actually used, you know, those tick marks where you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would do that every day that I did not overeat. And then finally you string together victories and you celebrate those victories. So I think having both a painful discipline and like, okay, if I don't overeat for a month, we're gonna go to Hobby Lobby and get something fun. I don't know. What would be fun for you? Go to coffee, whatever. The other thing is like nail biting. So I still have a deal with her, with my sister, that if I bite my nails, I owe her, I think it's like $5 a nail. It was $5 a nail at one point because I just needed that pattern to stop. And then if, so just something that's gonna be a reward or a pain point, and then have an accountability partner. So there you go. That's been really helpful for me. Real life, you know, hashtag real life. Can I just say as like, I don't know if this is a tip, a habit or a hack, but if you have kids under the age of 1.5, just give yourself so much grace. A lot of these habits and hacks, like starting the dishwasher, like getting up before your kids, a lot of these go out the window if you have an infant and you're not really sleeping, because that's a very, very unique, short, difficult season. Hopefully. I mean, if you have, you know, somebody who's sick or has reflux or colic or something like that, that's like a different, you know, situation. It might be longer, it might be harder. But if you have a baby, if you're not sleeping well, if you're any of that, just give yourself extra grace. Give yourself extra grace. Like the one scripture that meant the world to me and is a huge, was a huge help when I had tinies. And I'm saying like 2 weeks old tinies, like exhausted mama tinies, it's Isaiah 40:11. And it's talking about, it says, God carries and gently shepherds those who are nursing young. So he is gentle. God is gentle with mamas that have young kids. And so I would just say, give yourself grace when you have little young kids, especially if your sleep is interrupted, okay? I guess this tip is just kind of an awareness tip, is most of the time when I see that my kids are grumbling, complaining, arguing, picking at each other, if I will actually stop for a minute and think, am I doing that? Do I have an unthankful heart right now? Am I offended at my husband? Am I like complaining? Am I offended at my kids? Like that's a real thing. And most of the time, I would say 9 times out of 10, I have to deal with my own heart because they are little projectors. They're like little mirrors of what's going on in me. So my kids, it's like they're manifesting what I'm dealing with. So I would just encourage you, because I've just seen this in my own life all the time, is if you see something in them, just stop just for a second and say, okay, is there something going on in me? Am I doing the same? And then you just get it right, you know? If you need to ask for forgiveness, if you need to start, you know, sometimes in the car, I'll just start just spouting off what I'm thankful for. Like if I'm feeling that way, or if my kids are just complaint central, I will just start saying, okay, what are we thankful for? And I'll start, because usually I'm the one who's like the biggest culprit. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Thank you, God, that we have 2 cars. Thank you that, you know, just go through the list of whatever you can think of and start to change that atmosphere in your home. And then have your kids do the same. Okay, Christina, what are you thankful for? And a lot of times, you know, they're thankful for their stuffed animal, or they're thankful for their bed or whatever. But hey, that's getting their mind in a thankful state instead of like grumbling and complaining. So your kids are the little mirrors of your own heart. Yay. Declutter, declutter, declutter. So your space highly affects your mental health. You ladies know this. You all know this. So if you feel, I mean, it's proven over and over that if you have a cluttered space, a cluttered home, your cortisol levels, which is your stress hormone, goes up and causes a lot of stress. Clutter equals stress. So a lot of times we don't declutter because we don't have time. We don't have time, but we have time for 5 minutes of something every day. Typically we have 5 minutes of time, 5 to 10 minutes. So if something's bothering you, and I've done this so many times, and now it's just become like a life habit of decluttering. But if there is an area of your home that's bothering you, start there. Like for me, it's my laundry room every single time because that's our drop zone. When we come into the house, everything gets dropped in the laundry room. So it is a pigsty all the time. The backpacks, the coats, the homework, the work stuff for me and Ian. I mean, all kinds of stuff is dropped there. And at least it's dropped there instead of the rest of the house. So that's a good thing. Like, hey, it's okay. We're going for progress, not perfection. But that area I will focus on a lot of times. Okay, set the timer for 5 to 10 minutes and work on that area and then stop. And you're going to start with just decluttering the trash. Just declutter the trash. A lot of times, another area that bothers me are like my kids' clothes, because I've noticed they only wear a certain amount of their clothes. Like once they start getting older and they are dressing themselves, they have their favorites. And there's all these clothes that they don't really like. So why am I don't know. So it's time to declutter this stuff. Or if it doesn't fit right, or maybe the knees have holes in them, take 5 minutes and declutter that space. Or if it's your jeans that are driving you nuts because you're trying to get dressed every day, but you're like, oh, this one doesn't quite fit right. Oh, I want to save this till it does fit. No. Take 5 minutes, declutter your underwear, declutter your jeans. Go for that. Do small, because decluttering your whole house in like a week is probably not going to happen. 5 minutes a day. 5 minutes a day. Set the timer. The timer is powerful. Another tip that's actually been super helpful for me in parking lot safety, go figure, for my girls, is as soon as they get out of the car, I'm always freaked out that they're gonna run into the parking lot, right? Until they're old enough that you've reminded them, hey, we don't run into parking lots, you know, like heaven forbid we run in the middle of the Walmart parking lot because that's such a busy place. So what I've taught the girls is when they get out, and as soon as I say fingers, they take their little fingers and they touch the car, which means they're close to the car. Now, I try to tell them, let's not like draw pictures in the dirt on mom's car because that will scratch the car. So please don't do that. Now, does that always happen? No, but at least they're safe. So I say fingers and they put their fingers on, which means I know that they're stuck to the car and they're not going to be like running anywhere. Or if a neighboring car is pulling out, you know what I'm saying? So fingers has really helped. So as soon as I say fingers, they know, they touch the car. And then when I'm out of the car, I've got my bags, I'm ready to go. Then we hold hands and we go inside. Parking lots are dangerous. That's what I tell them. Okay, this is the tip that you were waiting for. This is my last tip that has saved me 3 trips to the doctor or the ER. So here's what happened this year, 3 times. When I say this year, I'm gonna say 2023 because this is barely 2024. So my 3-year-old figured out that she can stuff stuff up her nose. My 2 other girls never did that. I never had nose problems. I never had them shoving beads or beans or anything up their nose. So why did the youngest do that? I don't know. The first one was about 6 months ago, and she shoved this little tiny ladybug piece up her nose to the point where I could not see it. She wasn't crying, thank God, but she's like, she and her sister were saying, Mom, it's in my nose. It's in my nose. It's in my nose. And my heart starts to beat because I know I can't even see it. There's no way I can pull it out. I can't see it. So thank God I have a couple ER doctors that live down the street. I texted them and I said, hey, this is what happened. Do you think I should take them? Any tips before I go to the ER or the doctor? And they said, hey, just come on down. We'll see what we can do. So I went down to their house and they taught me this trick that has saved me, because guess what? This has happened 2 more times since then and we've been able to fix it. So what you do, by the way, I am not a doctor. So, talk to your doctor if you want to about this thing. So let's say, I'm just gonna be real here, okay? Can I just be real here? Let's say the bead is way up here on this side of the nose. So what you're gonna do as the mom is you are gonna plug the opposite side. So the bead's up here on this side. You're gonna plug this side, because what you're gonna try to do is blow it out this side. So you plug this side, and then you as the mom, you put your mouth over your baby's mouth, and you give them say, I'm gonna give you a kiss. And you plug this, blow really hard, and what happens is it goes through their sinuses and it shoves the bead out. Also have a Kleenex. But it works like the dickens. So since then, the ladybug came shooting out. Unbelievable. And this has happened twice since. It works. It works. And it saved me 3 trips to the doctor. So try it. Again, I am not a medical professional, but I'm telling you, this worked for me. So there's a couple of things that I'm really struggling with, and I'm going to share them with you. If you have any ideas or if you're strong in these areas, will you just put them in the comments for me? Okay, here's the first one, laundry system. I really don't have a laundry system that's worked. I've tried doing one whole laundry day and doing everyone's laundry at once. That's so overwhelming. It always bleeds into the next day. I've tried doing 1 load a day, keeps the laundry monster away. It just means that my whole life is laundry, is how I feel. I have a hard time figuring out, do I do all of my girls' clothes at once? Do I mix them in with the towels? How do you do it? Do you have a laundry system that works? If so, would you just please share it for me in the comments and for anybody else? Okay, next thing that I am struggling at, but I want to grow in, is eating healthy for lunch. So I feel like I do well for breakfast and dinner, but for lunch, a lot of times I don't know, I'm in a hurry, I'm feeding my kid, I'm, on my email, whatever. And I don't feed myself well. So any tips on feeding yourself well as a busy wife and mom and business owner? Let's see what else. Oh, control. I'm having a hard time letting go of control and of unimportant things. So any tips on control? For me, it's so hard for me to, I don't know, not control some of the little things. You're gonna want to wear socks with your shoes today because you're gonna get cold, or they're gonna rub your feet. But it's they're gonna throw a fit, or my oldest daughter doesn't like dresses anymore. Well, sometimes I'm there is a dress up occasion every once in a while. And sometimes they need to just know how to follow instruction and wear a dress. But other times, a lot of times, I can let go of control. So any tips on letting go of control, I would love that. Thank you so much for spending your precious time with me. I know you are busy, and so I really, really appreciate it. If you have any hacks or tips that you want to share, I would love to hear them. Put them in the comments below. Have a great 2024. And remember, don't try to reinvent your life in a day. Just pick one. Just pick one thing from this video. Just pick one thing from the book that you read. Just pick one thing and put that into play for a good month, and then pick something else. Start small and you will change your life.